All right, so in this lesson, actually, let's try to run the same app in the iOS emulator. Okay, in order to run this in iOS emulator, you do need to have a Mac computer first, but also you need to actually set up a lot of other dependencies, and you need to register in the Firebase. Now, remember in Firebase project, we did a project setting in the early on, and you actually need to register what kind of app you are using, whether you're doing the Android, and then next step. Here, we actually need to set up that for the iOS as well, right? So let's try to try this. I'm going to add an app, and then this time I'm going to do an iOS because the Firebase dependent everything, you need to also do the same kind of configuration for iOS. Now, we need to find out the iOS bundle ID. All right, so the way to find this one is you actually go to your iOS folder. Let's actually see if we can find any kind of information here. I think everything will be under the render here. Let's actually look at some of the info project list. See if there are any kind of bundle ID. If it's not here, it's easier to actually find from the actual the actual iOS project. So, but then I think it's also should be somewhere here. So actually see if there are any kind of bundle ID being used. Let's actually Google it. Probably bundle identifier. This is the one. All right, so it should be under this project folder right here. So I'm going to copy this one over and then put it here. These are optional, just register. Now we're going to iOS setup. All right. Once this is done, you also need to download this Google Services file. All right, download this file. And then you actually need to put that into your application folder directly. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to do this very carefully. Okay, copy this over and then put it right here. So I think they're talking about the application folder, which is, I think it's right under here. All right, so let's actually copy it over, double check. Okay, I think this is the right one. So let me just copy it over here, make it to the same file. All right, so that's the iOS file. And next, you also need to add the Firebase database, the SDK stuff. So you need to do the pod initialization. This is the tool in using iOS to manage all the dependencies. You also need to open your pod file and add some of these functionalities, and then finally do the pod install, right? So let's actually try this. All right, so let's go to the pod file here. Yeah, this is also where you manage all the dependencies, what kind of a library you're using, but then it doesn't specify what kind of library you're using here in the Flutter, right? So let's actually go back to Flutter. So Flutter Firebase setup, and there is a specific setup process for the iOS. As you can see, you create a Firebase project, we did that, or register the app, we did that one, where you find the ID stuff and the configuration file we added, and then this is also put it into the folder here. All right, and then we also need to do the plugin. So the plugin, you actually need to do this one. We already have it, right? So the main thing here, we actually need to make sure it works with the pod file and everything. So let's see if we need to do anything special about the pod file here. All right. So if not, we're going to run this one. Okay. So we may have some other issues, but then we can just try to fix it along the way. All right. So to start iOS emulator, you can go here and then open the iOS emulator. You want to make sure your iOS Xcode is up to date. All right, so with that, then you can just generate a new iPhone emulator. I think this is the kind of a newer version of the iPhone. It's like the SE version, a little bit cheaper version, and then see if that works. So the first time we set up the iOS device, it takes some time. And then the Firebase, you just want to make sure that all the dependency, everything is working. All right. All right, so now the emulator is up and running. Let's try to just run this directly and see if we have any luck here. I'm trying to choose the iOS device. Just to be safe, I will just stop the app and run it again. Start over. This is supposed to trigger all the build process for pod, for Firebase and all the stuff, but we may have As you can see, to do the pod install automatically for you, but we may have some other issues, and we just try to fix it. All right. And then this one is gonna take a while, and let's just be patient. It looks like the build process is finished and we're starting the app. And there's something wrong with it. Alright, let's try to click on this app again. Alright, so obviously something is wrong with it, and then we got to actually figure out why. Alright, so sometimes when this one happens, alright, so it doesn't show you a lot of the information about what's wrong with it. And one thing we can do is just open this project in the S code and see if we can get more details. Alright, so let's try this. So I'm gonna open right click here, open this project in Flutter, open in S code. Alright, so I'm gonna open this one right here. So that way it will just load everything into the iOS X code director, and then hopefully we can find more information about all the errors. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm gonna run this one more time from here. Alright, again, this is probably gonna take some time. See if we have any logs here. Okay. Alright, the build is successful. Alright, this is starting a new emulator. Okay, I'm gonna stop this one since this one is not really working. I'm gonna quit this one here. Oops, sorry, I quit both. Sorry, so I need to restart this one more time. Alright, build succeed. This is a good sign. That means at least the library, everything had been configured. Alright, so let's try this one here. Now, this one may not be working, but at least we should be able to find some error messages from the editor here, because it looks like the Android Studio is not giving us all this information. Alright. Alright, so something I think definitely is wrong. Okay, so let's see some of the, actually, see, it cannot locate this Google Services info.list file. So I think this is the problem. We didn't really see it because we did add the file into the folder, but it's not showing up here. So what we need to do is right click here and to add a file. Actually, so add a file to this workspace. So add file to this render workspace, and then this file is the one we're missing. So even though we put it physically here, but then we need to add it logically so that it will know where it is, so that it can actually run this successfully. Alright, try this one more time. Hopefully this one will work. Alright, so this one looks promising. As you can see, this is our first time we're running the same app in the iOS device, right? So we go here, the same thing here, we'll click on confirm, then this is the login screen. Let's actually try to sign up a new user here, see the experience. Okay, so we're gonna do the user number 10, okay, gmail.com, and then password 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then a name, I'll call it Jimmy, and the phone number, and then this is the work phone. Sign up. All right, looks like it's working. So login user 10 gmail.com 1 2 3 4 5 6 and login. All right, so now we see 4 users. A new user shows up, and then we can actually start our app here, which is not this one. It's a different app we did before. Okay, so this should be the same app. All right, so we're gonna click on this one here. I'm gonna log in with user 8 gmail.com and then password 1 2 3 4 5 6. All right, so login. All right, so both are seeing the same kind of app. Oh, actually, this is not latest version, I think, because we did not fix. Okay, there are too many versions. Which one has the latest version? Is that this one here? Okay. So let me actually restart this Android app, because I don't think this one is picking up the latest version. All right, because we actually have the placeholder here, and then let's make sure that one is working. But same time, let's actually start to play around with some messages. I'm gonna open this one. As you can see this time, okay, these are not the same user, so I just showed on the left. So we're gonna type some message here. Hi, I am here. Right, so click on send. All right, so this is the user you have, and so that's why it shows to the left, right? So, and then test another message. All right, it shows to the right. So we gotta fix why this is not to the end. I guess the reason is because we're not the width, we didn't specify that, right? So the whole width should be taking the whole space. That's something we're missing. Okay, so that should be very easy to fix. So this one is the user8 at gmail.com. All right, this one is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Click on login. All right, so now it shows up, and then go to the chat window. All right, so as you can see, these are the messages this user sent. It shows on the right, but then this one shows on the left, right? So that's how we can differentiate, because we know the user ID. All right, so let's actually fix the UI part here very quick. All right, so after a while of debugging, I actually find this is actually something very stupid. All right, so basically this is a row, and then we do have the whole width. It's just we're not aligning things to the right. Okay, we only align this part here. We didn't align this whole row. So all we need to do is go here to say main axis alignment. We'll make that to the end, and that's gonna fix everything. So that was a very a simple error here. Okay, so I'm gonna rerun this again. All right, so this is the Android version that comes to here. User8 gmail.com, password 1 2 3 4 5 6. All right, log in, get a current user, and then start a chat, and then hi, and click on the button, and then this will show up here, right? And the same time for the iOS, and then we can try to run the iOS also. Open the iOS emulator, this one here. Can we actually do a little hollow as well? I guess we probably will need to run this again in the iOS. Okay, let's restart it. All right, looks like the Xcode build has been finished, and then we are going here one more time to try. So this is user10 at gmail.com. This is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Click on login. We got a list of users, and then we start to chat, and this one all shows right. You can see this is the main user. How are you? I'm gonna send, and then this one shows up right away, and then so they can now communicate just like a real chat app. Alright, so that's kind of a quick demonstration on how this chat app works in both Android and iOS.